Hi, this is Craig Filicetti. Thank you very much for purchasing 50/50. I'm very excited to bring this product to market. It's a routine that I've performed regularly in my show. I still do it today for the last, I'd say about 8 years. In fact, I taught it in 2015 at FISM when I lectured there. So that was 8 years ago. So I was even performing it a few years prior to that. So it's been probably a decade. I really love performing this. I do it in the middle of my show. It's a great filler piece. It has a lot to do with body language, and it's something that I've worked on for years and years. And I'm going to just try to give you all the information, everything I've learned about performing this effect. And at the end of the video, we're going to show you some pieces of live performances of it. So inside your kit, it's very simple. You're actually going to receive an electronic tag that looks like this. I will say that this tag is much smaller than the one that I currently use in my shows, although I've switched over to using this. But when I released it, I wanted to make it smaller and better for the one that you get inside of your kit. It's just really the size of like a pinky nail. It's very, very small and it's very thin. It's only a few millimeters thick. You're also going to get a chest strap that you need in order to perform this. And we're providing you with a very nice leather wallet to contain the entire thing. One thing I've always loved about this effect is that the entire routine is contained right inside of this leather wallet. So you can just pull this out of your pocket. You can even do this in walk around if you like, once you get good at it, but you definitely can use it for stage. But I've even used it in walk around. So you're going to get this wallet. You'll get a battery, of course, and this is a CR1220. You can find these very inexpensively on Amazon. They're available everywhere. Inside of this wallet, there's a magnet as well. We'll get to the use of that. You will have either purchased or you'll already have a receiver. And we're going to give you a couple of $100. These are actually fake bills. I use and have used forever these bills here, which are real bills. You can see how wrinkled they are. But these have got a lot of years of use. You can use real bills if you like. You don't have to use hundreds if you don't want to. But we're going to provide you with some of these fake bills that you can use. They are paper, so you'll see that there's some disadvantages to using the paper with the creases and seams and stuff. But we're going to give them to you for fun if you use them, or you don't have to use them if you don't want to. So let's get just right into the setup of this. It's super simple to use. You'll take your receiver, turn it on, which I just did, and you will take your tag. When you insert the tag, the battery into the tag, you're going to hear it buzz one time. So I've got it sitting on the table. You're probably going to hear this, but I'm going to put it in right now. You saw it move. You saw it buzz. I will tell you, the battery is not simple to put in there. You've got to push that in there. And it's going to stay in there, and you'll be able to perform this at least 50 times over a couple of years off of this one battery. So that's like 50 10-minute performances you have for this. So you don't have to change this until you've done that many. For me, that's about a year's time. I do about 50 shows a year. Battery goes right inside there. That is it. You are completely set up. Now, what I'm going to do to test it is there's the magnet. You can see the little round circle in the upper corner here. That is the magnet. And I'm going to hold this up against the magnet to turn it on. You're going to hear the receiver start to buzz when I do that. It's just that simple. You just swipe it across there and it starts buzzing. You're going to get a constant buzz. You do it again, and it will turn itself off, just like that. So that's on, that's off. That is all that you have to do for this effect. Now, I'm going to place the tag on the back of one of the bills. And I always place the tag slightly above center. I use black gaff tape. We're going to try to find some creative tape for you that we're going to send inside the kit, which I don't have right now. But inside your kit, it may look a little different. I'm going to put the tag. It doesn't matter if the battery's up or the battery's down or the orientation of the tag, but I do it long ways with the bill. And I'm going to place it inside here like this. And I'm going to fold this up, and I'm going to put the tape around the outside of it. And there I'm set. So literally I have about a year's worth of performances right now by just having this piece of tape there. I take my other bill, I place it on the top. Now, there's actually a reason I do this. I put the face of this out. You can actually do it this way if you want to. So this way you know when you take this out of your wallet that you have the face and you have the tails, and you should be looking at the tails when you pull this out of the wallet. So I'm simply going to fold this in half, and I'm going to place this inside of the wallet. Now, my magnet is up here in this corner, so I'm going to place it with the tag toward the bottom so it does not turn on, like that, and now I can close up the wallet. So you are ready to perform with the wallet. I do use some rubber bands. These are fairly tight rubber bands, so I do use some rubber bands around my wallet, and I will get to that purpose in a minute, so we'll provide this to you. This can go right inside of your side pocket, or it can go in your back pocket. When I perform, I always have it in my right back pocket. So that's how we have this completely set up. Now we're going to go ahead and set up the chest piece. The chest piece we provided you has a piece of Velcro on it already set up that tears off. And this piece is going to go onto your receiver. So you're going to peel the sticky back off of this, and you're going to place it on the top of the receiver here. Which is on the switch side. And you'll see why we do that in just a minute, but this is where I recommend that you place the Velcro. You may decide that you want to do this slightly differently than I'm doing it, but this is the way I do it. So I'm going to peel this off, and I'm going to place this here. Now, I do place the soft part of the Velcro here, which is the loop side, right? It's not the hook side. The hook side stays here, and the loop side stays on your receiver. Now, the way I place this on here is just hook that Velcro together, and I keep the switch, it's a little bit too high. There we go. I keep the switch here so I'm able to access that switch and turn this receiver on and off, because this is going to go up against my chest. So I'm going to show you that in just 1 second. So we provided you with a chest strap, and this is probably the most important piece of the kit. You do need to wear this on your chest, okay? Don't try to do this effect without using this chest strap, and that's why we're providing it. I've got this a little bit sized, so I'm going to bring it right around my chest here. There we go. And I'm going to bring this right toward the center so that I can feel this and I can turn this on and off. It's super easy to turn this on and off through the chest piece. Now, you can wear this in 2 locations. You can wear it here on the chest, or you can actually wear it lower down by your belt. Both of these you can feel very easily, and this is fairly tight. So you do want this tight enough where you can feel it. So I'm going to put this right back up here. Again, it's super easy to turn on and off through your shirt, and you can definitely feel this. And the reason that this is important is that your body blocks the RF signals that you're getting. Okay, now we're going to go through the entire routine step by step, and then you're going to be able to see me do it live. Okay? I start with something with body language in the beginning, and I say, you know what, we're going to take this a step further. In fact, I'm going to need about 8 people to help me out in just a minute. And just to make it more interesting, I brought a couple of $100 with me. Now I bring this out, so now I know that when I open this thing up, I need to see the back of this, and you're seeing the front. In fact, I didn't bring just 100, but I brought $200. I always separate these because it tends to give that impression that they're just 2 bills in my hand, and sometimes I'll even flip this one around. And then I put the 2 bills back together. Now, you can keep this in your hand or duck it, but you see I've pulled the rubber bands off onto my hand, okay? Now, what I do here is, it's kind of a weird thing. I guess I call this a Z-fold, but I know that the tag is right here. Okay, so it's just past the halfway point. I grab the bills and I fold them this way, and I fold this around. That's one fold. So it's kind of it's half and then half over again. So basically I fold it in half and then I fold it half over again. And then I take this and I do this with it. I'm going to fold it down like this and put these on top here. And then I simply wrap this around, okay? Now, it's just a matter at this point. You can do this even before you've started, but I just have to touch it to the thing, and now I'm up and buzzing. So I'm up and buzzing. This goes back into my pocket. And I say, now, I am going to need 8 people to come up here and help me out. I always do this first. I don't bring the 8 people up. I've done that in the past. Don't make that mistake. It's too many people. You've got a lot of instruction going on. Don't bring the people up ahead of time, okay? Make sure that they come up afterwards. So you've done this part. See, now I need to have 8 people come up and help me out. In fact, the 8 of you, and I usually just grab a table. With the 8 of you, please come on up and join me over here. And they'll come up and they'll come over on the side. And I say, do me a favor. I want all of you to put your hands together like this. And they'll do this, and I wait till I see all of them doing it, and I say, great, this is what you look like when you have the money. But I'm going to have all of you doing this, so it looks like all of you have the money, but only one of you is going to have it, okay? I say, here, I'm going to come over, and I'm going to hand this to one of you. I always walk over to one person, I say, you seem very trustworthy. And when they reach for the money, I say, I'm just kidding, and I give it to somebody else. It's just a joke. It gets a great laugh at that moment. I give the money to somebody else. I say, everybody hands together. I say, now, you don't have to keep the money. I want the 8 of you to get together in a huddle, and I want you to decide amongst yourself who is going to have the money. All of you will have your hands like this at the end, and you can mix it up, but just make sure that one person has the money in the end. You guys decide. So that's what I do. Now, while they're doing that, I want the audience to think that I'm not paying any attention to them, because I'm not. So I step forward so I can't see them, even though they're at my periphery. And I say to the audience, I say, it's really interesting when you're working with a group of people, because amongst the 8 of them, they know who's going to be lying. I'm going to ask them if they have my money, and I want them all to say no. 7 are telling the truth, 1 is lying. The truth tellers will always pay the most attention to the liars. So I want you to see if you can notice what I'm noticing up here. The fewer people that I have, the harder this is to do. So I always tell them that, because I'm going to whittle this down. I want them, the audience, to have the perception that this is getting more and more difficult as I do this. So I say, the fewer people I have up here, the harder this is for me to do. Now, then I step back and I say, are you guys ready? Does one person have the money? And I usually just try to look away, and they say, yes. I say, fantastic. Now, I need 4 of you to come over here and join me on this other side. So that takes 4 of them over here, and they come on this side. So now I have 4 on one side, and I have 4 on another side. Often when I say 4 of them join me over, when they come walking across me, I start feeling buzzing, and then it goes away. I'm pretty darn sure at this point that somebody over here has it. If they come walking past me, I'm not getting anything, then it's probably somebody over there that has it. But sometimes I'm getting, depending on how far apart they are, I may be getting buzzing the entire time at this point. Okay. So now comes the first step. You need to figure out which side it's on. That's all you need to know, is which side the coin is on, or which side the tag is on. So I turn to the side with my microphone, and I say, I'm going to come over and ask you if you have my money. I want you to say no. 7 of you are telling the truth. 1 of you is going to be lying. And I see the first person, do you have my money? And I walk right up to them, and they'll say no. And I say, do you have my money? And they say no. And as I'm doing that, I'm trying to sense for buzzes. I might move my body around just a tiny bit, but I'm trying to sense for buzzes. If I'm getting a nice consistent buzz out of this side, then I know somebody over here has it. I turn around and I walk over and I do this side. I don't make up my mind yet. I just want to make sure. If I'm getting nothing over here from nobody, then I walk over here and I start getting buzzing, then I know that someone over here does not have it, but I'm getting buzzing over here, I know. Whichever side I'm getting the most consistent buzzing from is the side that has it. Now, depending on the person that has it, if you've got a really big guy that has really big hands like mitts, he can really block that signal compared to kids who have really small hands, or maybe a petite person. So if it's someone like that has it, I got to be a little bit careful, because I may pick up a stray signal. I may be facing this way. I may get one signal. But over here, it's going to be like boom, 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 boom. Like it's a very consistent signal, so I know who has it. So I go back and forth. I can ask any questions that I want. So come up with things that you think are funny. I can tell you some of the stuff that I use, and you'll probably see me do it in the live performance, but I say something like, have you ever cheated on a test? I usually do this for the second round, but have you ever cheated on a test? And they'll say yes or no. And especially if it's a child or a younger kid, I say, really? And they'll say yes. And I say, are your parents here? Do they know about this? I'll kind of get some conversation going that way. Or I'll say, oh, really? Did you do the thing where you wrote on your shoe? Some type of common cheating thing. And they'll start laughing like, yes. And it's almost like you read their mind. So there's a lot of different lines that you can use when you're doing this. Once you know what group it is, I always do this. It's so much more powerful. I say, I'm facing one of the groups, and I will say to them, I said, well, I want the 4 of you to show your empty hands and have a seat. And I'll turn away from them because I'm so confident who has it, I don't even want to see them open their hands. I say, I want the 4 of you to show your empty hands and have a seat. Like I'm done with them. And I turn around to this group and I just start looking at them. And they haven't opened their hands yet. So the audience doesn't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. And there's this tension that builds up. And the minute they open their hands, the audience goes, oh my gosh, he was right. And they all sit down. And I'm not even paying attention. I mean, I am, because I am, but that showing that level of confidence changes the routine completely. You need to do that. When you say, you know what, the 4 of you, show your empty hands, have a seat. Now we're down to 4. That's how I do it. And then I wait for the applause to come. And then I say, I want 2 of you, any of you, to join me on this side. And I look at the audience, I said, this is where I get most of my information. Like the way they walk across or whoever comes forward first. And I'll say something like, oh, the gentlemen are going to stay back. Or, oh, the gentlemen are coming forward. Or, oh, this lady seems very confident that she doesn't have my money. I'll make some sort of comment about that. And they'll come walking across and say, I need to have the 2 of you over here. And I will then proceed to ask them more questions. I'll go back and forth. In one of my shows, I was performing it, and there was a guy there, and he swore he looked like my dentist. And this was probably 5 years ago. And I said in the show, I said, wow, I said, you actually look like my dentist. I said, it's kind of freaking me out. And the whole place thought that was the funniest thing in the world. I have no idea why. And ever since then, I use that same line almost in every show. I always say to somebody, you look like my dentist. It's kind of freaking me out, whether it's a guy, a girl, whatever they look like, it doesn't matter. I just say that line. You're welcome to use it. Everybody starts laughing. Actually, there was a guy in the audience when I said it the very first time this happened, and he yells out, oh yeah, well, he probably does have your money, which I thought was pretty funny. So I've tried to add that in once in a while. So I say, oh, you look like my dentist. It's kind of freaking me out. And then I'll look over and I'll look at the audience. I say, yeah, he probably does have my money. But I think it's a little too, I don't know, it's just a little too set up. I think they can see through that. So I kind of dropped that second half. But that first dentist part's very funny. So asking if they've ever cheated on their income taxes, asking if they've ever cheated on a test, asking if they've ever been audited, ask them if they've ever had the FBI at their house, ask them if, let's say make a comment about their dentist as you're going back and forth. Just come up with all kinds of things that you can ask them. It's very funny. The audience finds it humorous. Go back and forth, figure out who has it. Once again, would the 2 of you please show your empty hands, have a seat? We're down to 2. And once again, that tension builds up, and there it is. Now, at this point in time, this is where I kind of up it, especially if I'm feeling very confident, like I'm getting very clear buzzes, everything is good. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know who it is. Sometimes I know which person it is at this point. I really know the exact person. But I say, we're going to do one more round. And this time, if I miss, the 2 of you can split the money. I like to use that because I use $200 bills, and it kind of makes sense that at this very end point, you guys can split the money. They each get $100. So it kind of makes that, like, why didn't you just use 100? Why were there 2 bills, if anyone wonders? So you guys get to split the money this time. But here's the thing. You can go back in the room, and you can switch it if you like. And this time, just to make it more difficult, when you come back, you can answer my questions any way you want. You can lie to me. You can tell me the truth. It's entirely up to you. I just need to figure out who has the money. Go ahead and go off, and they do that. And I usually tell the audience at that point, I said, yeah, I've got $50 for anybody who can tell me who has, if you guys can see, I need $50 for anybody who can tell me who has the money. It's kind of funny for the audience, like I'm, trying to figure it out without, spending the $200. So they come back, I split them up, and I then continue to go back and forth until I figure out who has the money. And then at the very end, I bring them both in close to me, and I will do the final reveal. And I say, would you please hand me my money back? And sometimes they do it right away. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes there's a delay. Like, you never know what's going to happen at the end. I've actually literally never lost any money doing this. I've been right 100% of the time. And I think you'll have the exact same success I did. But, it's that very last minute. It's very funny to try to figure out. I do try to tell them throughout the thing too, like, do not, like I say, one of you needs to have the money. The rules are one of you needs to have the money, the other can't have it, and you need to have it in your hands. Sometimes I don't make a big deal out of that if they're playing along. If they seem like they might mess with me a little bit, I'll tell them they need to have it in their hands so they don't put it in their pocket or throw it on the floor or do something like that. So that can occasionally happen. So I say, one of you needs to have the money in your hands, and, saying it's in your hands is maybe a little telling as to how the method, it may be a little bit too much, but I don't mind saying the rules are one of you needs to have the money. You can't split the money right now. That kind of a thing. You can't both have it, because that makes sense as far as me being able to find it. So that's basically the structure of the routine, and that's how you do it. Let's talk a little bit about the mechanics. This is where you wear the strap. Again, you want to face your body toward these people. And if you start to turn your body and there's someone over here, you could start getting side signals from that. You really need to use your body. Really think about your body as blocking. And I'm going to tell you something else too, is that I find on me, and you should test with this, but I find on me that with the chest strap toward the top, I'm actually less sensitive, so I'm more directional. Like I've got to get a little bit closer, and I get right in there, and I'm more directional. And it has to do with the fact that the mass of my body up here is larger than my waist. So when I wear it down here, it's like more sensitive. I have a better chance of picking up a signal from behind me than if I have it on my chest. So when I have it on my chest, I'm more like a dish, like a radar dish, and I'm picking up these signals on this side, and I'm less likely to get anything coming from behind me than I'm here. But here, I'm actually more sensitive. So I could wear it here if I've got a bigger stage and I can separate the people more. By wearing it down here, I'm more sensitive to it. I don't have to get as close to them. So that's kind of an advantage to wearing it down here. But if I'm in a tight situation, like a living room or something, I'm going to wear it up here because I know I'm going to be close to them. I usually use a handheld during this. I have one on stage along with my lav. So I've got a handheld, and I'll walk up, and I'll hand them the thing. And I know that I'm within just arm's distance of their hands. And I will be able to get those signals as I'm just, naturally holding the mic in front of their mouth so that they can answer. So those are the techniques. Once the routine's done, I get the $200 back. I touch it back to the wallet, and the entire thing goes in a ditch bag. Make sure that these two pieces get separated when they go in your ditch bag so that they don't touch each other and turn on during your show, so you start getting a ton of random signals. You want these two things separated when they go inside your ditch bag. I don't take the time to unravel it and take the rubber bands off and, put it back in my wallet. You could do that. It's not my style. I like to get rid of it and I move on to the next thing. After the show's over, I put it all back together. You can leave the battery in it and you just leave it off. So make sure it's not near that magnet. And you can move this magnet around to different locations. But I leave the magnet in here. I leave the money inside the wallet. I put the rubber bands around it. It goes inside my case. And I am always ready to go. I've got 8-9 minutes of very entertaining routine with this right here inside my wallet. I don't need any paper, pens, nothing else. I have 100% of everything I need right here and an audience. So I will say if I have a smaller audience of like, say, 20 people, I want to do it 3 times. So I'll bring up maybe 6, maybe 5, right? And with say 5 people, I'll split them into a group of 2 and 3. And that way I've got 15 people watching instead of like 8 up and 12 sitting there. So I've got maybe, 5 of them up. And I'll put 2 on one side, I'll put 2 on the other side. And I like to keep up the funner, of course you want to keep the funner people up that are having a good time, the better participants. So keep them up. And what I'll do is I'll ask them the questions and I'll just point to one person. And I'll just say, you know what, do me a favor, show your empty hands, you have a seat. Now we're down to 4. And then I've got, say, 3 on one side, 2 over. I say, would you do me a favor? Would you join him on this side over here? Because I was getting the signal maybe from over here. So now I've got one person that comes over. Now, if I start getting the signal on this side, I know who has it. So when I do my final reveal, I might actually say, you know what? The 2 of them went to the side. They made a decision. And when I do the final review, I say, you know what? Let me tell you what I think has been going on here. I think originally you had the money. You guys went back there. You decided amongst yourself what you were going to do. And in the end, you decided to keep it the same and you still have my money, or so you guys decided to change and now you have my money. So I'll do the kind of the reveal like that where I can actually say like what it was originally and what it was after. You can flip that around if you want to. You can finish the routine and say, I believe you have my money and you got it. And you say, and I think originally you had my money. Is that correct? And she'll say yes, or he'll say yes. Or you can say, but I think originally you had it, didn't you? And he'll say yes. So it's almost like that little kicker that you have at the end. So if you get more information during the show by moving people around, you can add those things in there. And I've done that. It just depends on the show and how things are going, how many people I have on stage as to how I do it. So that pretty much sums it all up. I've performed this a lot, and it's something that I never take out of my show. It's just too strong. The reactions are too good. And I think you are really going to love performing this. So thank you very much for purchasing 50/50, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Let's see. Let's try something with a group of people. I happen to have with me $200. Yeah, it makes it a little bit more interesting at this point. Yeah, I see hands going up already. Now, I didn't say anybody was going to win or lose this money. I just said that I had $200. So why don't we get a large group of people up here? I actually need about 8 people to help me out tonight. So you raise your hand. Would you like to come up? Is that one? Okay. How about these two right here, these 2 gentlemen right here? Would you 2 like to come up? The 2 ladies behind them, and maybe the 2 after that. There's 6 right there. Do you want to come up? That's 7. Come on up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, absolutely. Come on up and have a stand right over here. Yeah. She looks thrilled to be coming up. Let's give them a nice round of applause. That's perfect. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got room for 3 more people. There's 6. There's 7. There's 8. Come on up. And I'm going to have you all walk right over here. So I have with me $200, and I'm going to have you all put your hands together like this, as if you have the money. Only one of you is going to have the money, though, okay? You seem very trustworthy. Actually, here. Yeah, okay. So if you would, form a huddle over there. Yes, form a huddle. I don't want anybody in this room to know which one of you has the money. Make a decision on who's going to have it. One of you will have it, and then the rest of you just keep your hands together. So here's the thing. When you have a group of people, I'm going to ask them if they have my money, and they're going to all say no. So 7 of them are going to be telling me the truth. 1's going to be lying. The truth tellers will pay the most attention to the liars. So see if you guys can pick out who's lying and who actually has my money. We'll whittle it down. The fewer number of people that I have, the harder this is to actually do. Does that make sense? All right. Are you guys about done? I don't want to look unless you guys are done. Tell me when you're ready. Yeah? Okay, so what, 4 of you join me over here on this side. That's 1. Gentleman steps right over. Another gentleman, this gal right here. Step over here. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Thank you very much. I'm going to step over here. I'm going to ask you if you have my money, and the answer is no, that you do not have it. Do you have my money?
No.
You don't. Do you have my money?
No.
And do you have my money?
No.
And do you have my money?
No.
You guys can step over here a little further into the light. Do you have my money?
No.
Do you have my money?
No.
And do you, sir?
No.
This guy kind of looks like my dentist. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit, I have to admit. And sir, do you have it?
No.
Interesting. And do you have it?
No. No.
No.
No.
Would the 4 of you show your empty hands and have a seat? We are down to just 4. This is where I get most of my information, but would 2 of you join me over here? Let's see who steps forward. Very nice. Thank you for coming over. Do you have my money?
No.
I don't know if I can believe. Do you have my money, sir?
No.
No. Do you have my money?
No.
Do you have my money?
No.
You ever cheated on a test?
No.
I don't believe that for a
Don't
second.
believe me? Why not?
I don't believe that.
Come on.
Is your mom in the audience? Is that why you're saying that? No. You have not cheated on a test?
No.
Taxes?
No.
No. You guys are gonna think I'm actually the IRS, aren't you? And do you have my money?
No.
And do you have my money?
No.
Would you do me a favor? Would you go over there? And would you come over on this side? Thank you. And you don't have it?
No.
And you do not have it?
No.
And you don't have it?
No.
And you don't have it?
No.
Would you 2 show your empty hands and have a seat? All right. So here's the thing. If I miss this time, you guys can split the money. But I'm going to allow you to go over there. You can make a decision. You can switch it up if you want to, or you can keep it the way you have it. It's entirely up to you. But go over there and just do that now. Make sure nobody can see who has the money. And this time I'm going to allow you to answer any way you want to answer. You can say yes, you can say no. It's entirely up to you how you answer these questions. But one of you must have it. Would one of you step over here? Thank you for coming over.
My pleasure.
You know that's a sign of guilt. Do you have my money?
No.
And do you have my money?
No.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
You can answer either way.
I can.
Yes. Do you have my money? You can say yes or no.
No.
You still don't have it.
Still don't have it.
You ever cheat on a test?
Absolutely.
I believe that. And you?
No, I
And you
don't.
have not cheated on a test. That's a
I
yes.
cheated?
That's a yes. You wrote answers on your shoe.
No, I haven't done that. I have had Google.
See? And do you have my money?
No.
You don't have it.
No.
You're sure? And you don't have it?
No.
And you have cheated on a test.
I mean,
You've
it's an
cheated on a
online
test.
test. That doesn't count.
It's what?
It's an online test. It doesn't count.
Oh, that doesn't count. That's right. Those online classes don't count. All right, would you mind stepping over? Oh, let's see. Actually, on this side would be great. Yes, please. So one of you has it. I'll tell you what I think's going on, then you can confirm at the end. So I'm not committing yet, but I think originally you had the money. I think. I'm not convinced, but I think you did. I think the two of you went over there. I think you guys talked about it for a moment. And I think you might have switched it at one point. But in the end, I believe you have my money. Can I please have my money back? Yes. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Actually, before you guys go back.